Star Wars Battlefront 2 has had quite a few transmissions this week. Well, two of them at least. One about the skins and then another about the new squad system and matchmaking. So let's just go over the transmissions. Well, primarily the matchmaking one, since I'm not a big fan of the skins anyway. Welcome back, and if you've read the transmission, or if you haven't read the transmission I should say, you'll find a link of it in the description down below, right above, or I'm sorry, right below that like button. So make sure to give that like button a click and subscribe, and then go ahead and follow the link to the transmission, and then come on back here so we can just talk about it. So the main things that are in the transmission that I just want to talk about is primarily the way matchmaking works now versus the way it's going to work and how it should work just in general. So they finally admit that the servers try to put you in a similar skill level on your initial search, but then you only get matched once, so it degrades very quickly into a unbalanced game. And that also it tries to match players with the minimum amount of players into an empty lobby instead of trying to fill already going lobbies. Now I've thought that that was the case for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure most of you have realized that a lot of times you'll get put into empty lobbies currently, and that's why, is because the system itself is designed to focus on putting people into empty lobbies with the minimum amount of players available instead of just filling the ones that are currently there. Now with the new patch coming out, hopefully this is the one for the 25th, you know, it doesn't actually give a date now that I'm looking at it again. We won't have the issue of empty lobbies just popping up left and right, and hopefully they'll just fill all the servers that are currently ongoing. They're also going to bring back the matchmaking randomness button again. So if you remember, the end of round matchmaking, or they call it EOR matchmaking, allowed one person to hit square and it would randomly scramble them again into a new team or into a new lobby, so that way they could get a more balanced game. This has been flawed in the past where it'll randomize no matter what at the end. If someone doesn't hit it or someone does hit it, you know, we play in large groups quite a bit on this channel, and whenever we're playing during the end of round matchmaking testing, it kept rebalancing itself at the end of each match, and we would lose the people that we couldn't get into our game group, since, you know, either EA's invite system would foul up and it wouldn't let them join, or they just had issues where the invites itself were broken. You know, EA's not the best when it comes to playing in large groups like this, but we try. So then it became an issue of getting the people that couldn't get into our game group back into the lobby we were in. So I'm not a big fan of the end of round matchmaking where it randomly searches you again and puts you into new lobbies. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully what they mean is it'll just shuffle the teams around, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Even if we're in a large group, shuffling the teams wouldn't be such a bad thing. Playing against my group is actually the most fun I have, so I would rather have it mix up our team than not, if that means that it's going to give us more balanced matches. So the way it'll go after the patch is it'll start placing priority to games that are currently ongoing. Hopefully that means that we won't have so many lopsided games where it's 20 versus, you know, 5, and hopefully it'll also take into account skill levels there. It does mention in this one that there is a skill level taken into account. Now I don't know if we have, well, I know we don't have access to see what our skill level or ranking is, even though we can in the Battlefield 4. You know, I'd kind of like that system back where we can see that, but either way, apparently that's a thing that is in the background. I'd still love to see a stats page on that so we can ideally see how that works, but let's not get ahead of ourselves, I guess. But yeah, so hopefully, you know, with the new matchmaking coming out, we'll have more full and more balanced lobbies when the patch rolls live with the new squad system. So I am looking forward to that. They also are going to be fixing the ping site issue. Now I know that there's been a lot of places having issues, like Australia apparently is one of them, where if you're on the Australia ping site or on the I think it was Singapore or Hong Kong we were trying, you can't find a game at all ever, just because there's a flaw there. So hopefully that's being fixed, it says. Hopefully you won't have that issue, or you should be able to find games a lot quicker. And yeah, it does say these changes were start to arrive in the September update. So in September we'll be getting the new squads, and then also we'll be getting these changes for the server and the end of round matchmaking, and hopefully more balanced matches coming forward. And then the other community transmission is the skins. So I guess a lot of people are really excited that they're going to go back and rework the skins. I, for one, personally am not. If you are, that's perfectly fine. You know, we're allowed to disagree. It's okay to disagree with me on this channel, and it's okay if I disagree with you. We can still be friends. Personally, I feel like if the skins are out, regardless if they're accurate or not, they're already out and in the game. There's no point in taking an artist and putting them back on something that's already been released and having them waste more time doing that when they could be working on something that would benefit the game much more, like either new maps or even new skins that I don't care about, just to keep people interested in more skins, and then fix the ones going forward to be more accurate and make the first couple, even though they're not 100% accurate, you can go back and fix them later, once the game is actually thriving again. But that's just kind of how I feel on the skins. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on that for too long. There's been a lot of videos out that came out pretty early on in the week, and to be honest, I just didn't care enough to make it its own video. But the matchmaking is very important, because that is one thing that'll keep this game a lot more fun, is these close matches as opposed to steamrolls. But that's pretty much all I had. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. As always, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, comment. Commenting really helps the channel quite a bit. Any action you take on a video really helps that video get found. So commenting is awesome. Doesn't matter what you put down there. Just keep it polite. Don't be a dick. Everything will be fine. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in game.